Welcome to the 159th edition of Make Pro Wrestling Majestic again. I am Tiger Height.
And I am Peanut Gallery.
So let's get right into the drama because there's a lot actually this time.
A lot happened this week.
Yes. Ricochet. He is the worst proponent of Twitter I think I have seen from a wrestler in a long time. He makes Marty Jannetty look sane. And Marty Jannetty said that he would fuck his adopted daughter. That was literally a sentence that he put out on his Facebook. And Ricochet is on this weird, if anybody can criticize him, he's going to have a bitch fit warpath.
The theory behind all of this is that Ricochet, during his time in WWE, was probably given guidelines on how to conduct themselves on social media.
Which everybody who has a social media presence should follow.
But after leaving the WWE, he was given a little more freedom. So I think that this is more of his true colors when he is on social media.
Yeah, and that is not a good look. This is not good.
No.
And I think the ratings spoke for themselves on Wednesday.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wanted to point this out because this is not good. No. And this is coming from me, who sometimes, I think at some point in time, we all get somewhat emotional on social media. We get pissed off. Maybe we're drunk. We say or do things that maybe we wouldn't have anyway.
Right.
But sometimes you have to take accountability, like I just did.
Right.
I do dumb shit. Peanut Gallery's done dumb shit. We all have.
Right.
But Ricochet, I just don't think is getting it.
No.
Because this is not helping him at all.
Absolutely not.
And for every micro criticism that has happened, he has responded. And it's like, dude, don't do that.
Right.
Oh, Sean Ross Sapp. So Fightful continue to be the most toxic thing in all of wrestling. Not only did they spread a rumor that Ricky Starks was actively shooting down creative ideas when he had to go on Twitter and literally say he never did.
Right.
He never did that. But here is Sapp saying that Sid's son on his Facebook claimed that his dad is dead. But then he tried to redact this, so he deleted this.
Okay, so the problem isn't necessarily this tweet, because obviously he's trying to cover his base because he doesn't know that for sure. Like, he did not get, the only one person has said it at that point.
But the one person who said it is somebody that is literally can be trusted because it's his own son.
Well, I wouldn't trust anything until I get a full outside. I wouldn't trust something that someone would say on social. People can say whatever they want on social media. You can trust the person, but you have to verify that what they are saying is actually correct.
And how are you? And then with the redaction, though, he claimed that the original source came from a Twitter account that apparently Sid ran.
Right, and see, that's where my issue comes in.
It's like, okay, we all know that gigantic Psycho Sid account is a fake account.
Right.
We were aware of this.
Right.
Just because it's verified now does not necessarily mean that it's true, which is why I hate this whole you buy to be verified system. Right. Because when you are verified, you actually have to send them physical proof that you are who you say you are, for the most part. Back in the old days of Twitter, but now you don't do that anymore.
Well, yeah, because Elon Musk has taken over the platform.
But this is egregious. This is not reporting. This is an ass. And the same thing with Ricky Starks. Anybody who believes Fightful at this point should just basically throw away their computer and set it on fire. You guys... And I'm talking directly to Sapp, to K, to all of the losers at Fightful.
Yeah.
You criticized me for wearing the sunglasses, where I gave an explanation on why I do. You have criticized, you block anybody who disagrees with you and then unblock them, try to insult them through DMs, then reblock them, which is just so small dick energy behavior. It's ridiculous. So I recommend that if you want to be taken seriously nowadays, get off Twitter.
Right.
That is your number one enemy right now. But I wanted to talk about that because this one sort of kind of gets me into different feels, because I know you might have like that whole, I want to see a double check on the proof of that. But to me, The number one person who would have that would be somebody who is directly linked to the person.
Again, you don't know that for sure.
What would the kid get out of it to lie about the death of their father? That's the other thing where
because it could be an impersonator. You don't know that for sure.
Oh, we already knew that this was his son's account.
Well, again, you can't. You're jumping the gun too soon, I think. You just need to stop with you can't say claiming. He should have said nothing until he got actual
exactly
news
because
that
this
actually happened.
Exactly. And if the son says it, you personal message them. You want to verify. You wait for an obituary.
Yeah.
Which is basically the confirmation because obituaries have to come out in the areas that they live in. And I think he lived in Kentucky. So there we go. Randy Orton and Machine Gun Kelly had a little bit of a Twitter spout as well.
Don't they always have Twitter spouts?
Yeah, these two hate each other. I want to see a match, but it's like, okay, do I want to see Randy Orton taking on Pretty Deadly on meth? Kind of. But Machine Gun Kelly he looks terrible, but I will give him credit. He did take some pretty big bumps, and he likes wrestling, and I think if they're going to do a celebrity crossover, I don't think Machine Gun Kelly would be the worst idea.
No, but Randy Orton and Machine Gun Kelly always not liked each other.
Right. They always dog on each other, but they had like this big blow up over this week. So I'm like, oh, this will be fun to talk about. And then, now, we are, obviously, Peanut Gallery is going to talk about this, but I have a step-by-step scenario how I believe this went down.
Okay. So,
Reader's Digest version, Nikki Bella's or Nikki Garcia's husband. That's him. I'm not going to try to pronounce it.
Artem Chigvintsev.
Yes.
I'm going to go with that.
I'm going to call him Artem because that's his name.
Yes.
He was arrested for felony domestic violence, and he is on bail for $25,000. So that's pretty bad.
So is he still in prison?
Yes.
Or not in prison, he's in jail because he hasn't gone through trial.
Yes.
He is in jail at the moment.
To my knowledge, he is still in jail. Now, through what I have seen, I listened to the 911 dispatch call, and I listened to the 911 tape of him calling. So
so he called.
So here's kind of what's going on.
Okay.
Since 2021, these two's marriage has been somewhat on the rocks. And in that same year, Nikki Bella came out saying that Artem has always had a problem with communication. So when generally there's a problem, either he will shut down or blow up, and there's no in between. This is to what I heard from the interview. This started because Artem already had a problem. He was already upset because Dancing with the Stars was not going to renew his contract. The same day, they told him that they were not going to renew his contract, and being Dancing with the Stars, he was probably going to be upset about that.
Yeah.
There was an argument, and to what I saw now, in my mind, this is order of operations that makes sense. It was an argument, and Nikki threw a shoe.
Okay, so Nikki was the one that instigated.
This is to my knowledge. Now, this is based on general common sense assumption. Now, also, this happened in the morning. So, to what I am aware of, alcohol nor drugs were involved. The kid was there, and the kid is 4, I believe. So, this is all important, by the way, because in California, when a call comes through that relates to domestic violence, no matter who calls, the police must respond. Especially if there is a child in the presence.
Yes.
Now, when they say in the presence, they have to be in the building.
Yes.
So even if the kid was upstairs sleeping while this argument was happening, they have to.
They have to respond.
Yes. Now, there were 2 calls made. Artem made the original call.
Okay.
Saying that my wife threw a shoe at me. We're having an issue. Please come.
Okay.
And he wanted ambulance, where fire trucks come, and police.
Right.
Now, he called again, calling off the emergency services.
Right.
Now, the paramedics and the fire people, they have to not go because as soon as it calls again saying it's been resolved.
Yeah.
Because that's what he said. It's been resolved. You don't have to come out.
But the police still had to come.
They had to come. Now, they arrested him because of her physical injuries.
Okay. So she was the one that. So the reason that he was arrested and not her, even though he was the one that called in, was because Nikki had visible injuries.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, the extent of the injuries, we are not sure.
Mm-hmm.
There was a representative that spoke for Nikki Bella that the family needs time.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to make a public statement right now, and I'm going to respect that.
Okay.
But because of the gravity of this situation and
Yep.
the fact that it is a felony
Mm-hmm.
and a $25,000 bond, that's a lot, or bail,
Mhm.
that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
These injuries must have been really, really bad for this to be an issue. To my research, I could not find any other cases of domestic violence from Artem. So
Okay.
I
So this is like a first time thing.
to my knowledge,
Right.
I could be wrong. There were a couple of things in there that I was trying to sift through.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about putting on the 911 call and the dispatch, but you could barely hear a damn thing.
Right.
So it was just going to be a muffled mess
Mhm.
because basically it's a recording of a recording.
Right.
So it was not going to be the best. But there is a developing situation
Mhm.
here going on. We do not know every brass detail. What I went over was based on the 911 call,
Mm-hmm.
my own common sense,
Mm-hmm.
and the general dissertation of the events that we know of.
Right.
Now, can I say 100% that Nikki instigated the fight? No. But within common sense dictation, Nikki's not just going to randomly throw a shoe at her husband.
Right.
He was already upset,
Mhm.
and there was already knowledge that they were on the rocks,
Mhm.
and that he had a hard time communicating.
Right.
So, to my knowledge, Nikki was probably worried, trying to figure out why Artem maybe was visibly upset.
Mm-hmm.
He got pissed off because he doesn't know how to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
She got pissed off. They got into a screaming match through the heat of the moment. Maybe something was thrown. I don't know if that was the order of operations, but based on my common sense, that makes sense to me.
Okay.
Now,
Moving on.
does that excuse Artem? Absolutely not.
No.
But you should never instigate a fight.
Right.
That is not good. And I think that was it for me. Oh, and then the backlash of the documentary that is, or the docu-series that's coming out against Vince McMahon is weird.
It is kind of weird. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about this
Yes.
when we get to the actual news
When
segment.
we'll
let's
get to it.
let's talk about the backlash. I haven't seen a lot of it.
So, obviously, because of what's going on with Janelle Grant, the lawsuit and all of that, that is why there is backlash. Because, like, oh, you're exploiting a currently big-time situation. But
this has been in the works for a long time, though.
it's been in the works for a long time. And how can you say that on one end, and yet on the other end with the Jeffrey Dahmer shit, you were totally cool with?
Right.
Because that was a Netflix project, too. And
Yeah.
that came out a couple of months ago. So how can you do that? I mean, there was backlash with that, too. But then there were people saying, oh, this was great. He was really hot. And it was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? This is Jeffrey Dahmer. This guy literally ate people.
Right.
So I'm excited for it personally. I think...
it is possible that we are also going to be covering it on the show.
Yes.
I'd like a special episode.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
I'll look out for that.
But yeah, that's all the drama that I have. Peanut Gallery.
Let's go. Let's get some news.
Let's get some news out of the way.